The Philadelphia Eagles are currently staring down a potential disaster that could completely derail their 2026 championship aspirations, and the national media is finally sounding the alarm on a roster hole so massive you could drive a truck through it. While most fans are still celebrating the draft haul, a chilling reality is setting in. The back end of this defense is a ghost town, and if Howie Roseman doesn't pull off a miracle trade or a late-season signing, this secondary is going to get absolutely shredded by the elite quarterbacks of the NFC. We're talking about a total collapse in the safety position that has experts calling it the single biggest red flag in the entire league. Is this the oversight that ruins an otherwise loaded roster? Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. We have to look at the cold, hard facts coming out of the post-draft evaluations. While the Eagles have built a literal wall on the defensive line and have talent dripping off the edges, the safety room looks like a total emergency room. ESPN recently dropped a bombshell report ranking the biggest roster gaps for all 32 teams heading into the 2026 season, and for the Birds, the verdict was unanimous and ugly. Safety isn't just a need, it's a glaring, flashing neon sign of a problem. With Reed Blankenship no longer in the building, the depth chart behind the starters is essentially a collection of what-ifs and special teams players who have barely seen a defensive snap in years. Think about the pressure this puts on the rest of the defense. You can have the best pass rush in the world, but if your safeties can't communicate or cover the deep third, it only takes 4 seconds for a play to turn into a touchdown. The front office has admitted they aren't done adding to the room, but the clock is ticking. The veterans are aging, the young guys are improving, and the middle of the field is looking like a playground for opposing coordinators. Who's to blame for this roster gap? Is it on Howie for not being aggressive enough in the draft? Or did the market just move too fast? Drop a name in the comments and tell me who you blame for this safety crisis. Let's break down who is actually left on the field. You have Andrew Makuba, who, to be fair, was an absolute masterclass of a rookie. He's got the ball skills, he's aggressive against the run, and he looks like a future star. But here is the catch. He's coming off a broken ankle. In the NFL, banking your entire secondary on a sophomore coming off a major lower body injury is a massive gamble. Then you have Marcus Epps. Now, Vic Fangio loves Epps because he's a cerebral player who understands the complex geometry of this defensive scheme. He's a respected veteran, but let's be real. At this stage of his career, Epps has a ceiling.
It really dictates
He's
the
the
defense.
rangy, sideline-to-sideline playmaker that this defense needs to reach the next level. Behind them, it gets even scarier. We're hearing talk about converting cornerbacks like Michael Carter II or Jonathan Jones to safety just to fill the void. While these guys are elite in the slot, moving a veteran to a completely new position is a move born out of desperation, not strategy. And then there's JT Gray. We all love Gray as an all-pro special teams gunner. The guy is a heat-seeking missile on punts, but he didn't play a single defensive snap in the 2025 regular season. You cannot go into a Super Bowl window expecting a special teams ace to suddenly cover CD Lamb or Justin Jefferson in the deep half. It's a recipe for a defensive disaster. But wait until you hear about the legendary names currently sitting in free agency that the Eagles are surprisingly ignoring. If the internal options are a mess, the free agent wire offers some legendary names, but they come with massive question marks. You've got Donovan Wilson, the former Cowboy who plays like a linebacker in the secondary. He's a box safety who loves to hit, but does he have the range for Fangio's system? Then there's Jimmy Ward, a guy who followed DeMeco Ryans to Houston and has played at a high level for years. He's versatile and can play the nickel, but age and recent injuries are a major concern. And what about the big fish? Well, L'Jarius Sneed is out there after his stint in Tennessee didn't go as planned. He made his name as a lockdown corner with the Chiefs, but at this point in his journey, could he follow the path of greats like Rod Woodson and transition to safety? It's a move that could save his career in the Eagles season. Then you have the old guard, Harrison Smith, a Vikings legend and future Hall of Famer. Even at his age, he's playing better than half the safeties in the league. If he wants one last ring, Philly is the spot. However, we have to address the elephant in the room, Justin Simmons. Fans have been screaming for Simmons to join the Birds for years, especially with his history under Vic Fangio in Denver. He's a four-time All-Pro who knows this defense better than anyone. But the dream seems to be dead. Simmons recently walked away from the game and retired. Unless Howie Roseman can channel his inner recruiter and pull Simmons out of retirement with a massive paycheck and a chance at a ring, that door is slammed shut. So, if the veterans aren't the answer, the Eagles have to look at the trade block. And there is one specific name in the AFC North that would change everything. If free agency is a dead end, the trade market is where the real fireworks happen. There are four names that every Eagles fan needs to memorize: Buda Baker, Grant Delpit, Justin Reed, and Jesse Bates. These aren't just depth pieces. These are the kind of players who change the entire identity of a franchise. Buda Baker is a human highlight reel in Arizona, but the Cardinals are in a different phase of their build. Jesse Bates is an elite ball hawk, and with Atlanta recently making moves at the position, could he be the odd man out? But the name that makes the most sense, the one that feels like a classic Howie Roseman by low masterstroke, is Grant Delpit from the Cleveland Browns. Delpit is a former LSU standout, and we know this front office has a massive crush on big school prospects lately. He's got elite size and clocked a 4.39 40-yard dash. He can play center field, he can play in the box, and he can even mask some of the issues at linebacker. Cleveland paid him a massive $36 million extension. But if they're looking to shed cap, the Eagles could swoop in and secure a long-term fixture for their secondary without giving up a first-round pick. Delpit had an incredible recovery from an Achilles injury early in his career and has developed into one of the most consistent safeties in the AFC. In a Vic Fangio defense, a player with Delpit's chess piece versatility is worth his weight in gold. He allows the defensive coordinator to disguise coverages and move pieces around until the quarterback's head is spinning. If the Eagles don't make a move for a talent like this, they're essentially asking their offense to score 35 points a night just to stay competitive. The 2026 season is shaping up to be a historic run for the Eagles, but this safety situation is the Achilles heel that could bring the whole thing crashing down. We've seen this story before. A team with all the talent in the world gets bounced in the playoffs because of one weak link. Howie Roseman has the assets, he has the cap space, and he has the motivation. The question is, will he pull the trigger on a trade before the preseason begins, or is he going to bet the season on a group of special teamers and converted corners? The margin for error is zero, and the eyes of the entire NFL are on Philadelphia's secondary. If they fix this, they're Super Bowl favorites. If they don't, it's going to be a long, painful autumn at the link. Stay tuned, because this situation is developing by the hour, and we'll be here to break it down the second a deal happens.